My sweetheart, you just want to get rubbed, and this is not the time for all that. I'm going to go ahead and put my, give my piece of paper and glasses to my camera lady. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and take a look real quick at the symmetry, asymmetry or symmetry of Lovey. So I'm going to go ahead and get the mounting block, and if the camera wants to come on in here, we'll take a look at Lovey's on top of her back. Now, I'm not saying you can't change this, the symmetry of your horse. You can, you guys. It's just something to take a look at because it can take time. You can change a horse's muscular conformation and develop them into a better athlete and make them more balanced. You absolutely can. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't change the conformation. You can't change the bone structure. No. But I can help her move better, I can help her track up and come underneath herself better, and I can change the muscling on her. So come here, sweetie. I just want you guys to be aware because this is a big deal when you go to ride a horse. I see this all the time when horses come to me to be retrained from my clients because they have behavioral issues all of a sudden. And my client's like, I don't understand. Why? And so I'm looking at all these physical attributes. You know, I'm always looking at the horse going, oh wow, here we go. This is why your horse isn't balanced. Your horse is definitely, the feet are not trimmed correctly. We're going to talk about that. So real quick, while we're talking about hooves, let's pan in on Lovey's hooves. She's going to be due a trim in about a week, and we'll talk about, I don't know if the camera can see her hind end and just see a little bit of flaring in her hind end, just a little bit of flare right here. So what I want you guys to be able to see is Lovey definitely is going to need a trim in a week or two. I usually have my horses' feet trimmed every 2 to 4 weeks throughout the entire year. And if they get trimmed every 2 weeks, it's only for a short period of time because maybe their hooves are too dry or too moist and they're cracking or peeling, and I want to be on top of it. And the farrier definitely agrees with that. I am not the type of person to ever let the toe, nor do any of the farriers I've ever worked with want the toe too long. You definitely want heel on your horse because that helps to provide cushion to the sole, and having a shorter toe is really important as well. And if you just look at the wild horses and study their angles, just train your eye, you'll see that the wild horses naturally get their hooves trimmed just by walking on the different terrain throughout the day. And their hooves look a lot like Lovey. Lovey has excellent hooves for a thoroughbred. They're big, they're very strong. Come here, sweetheart. But what I want to point out about the flaring is it's not bad, and it's equal flaring on all sides. So that's something conformationally that you want to look at, because if Lovey's flaring, and I don't know if the camera needs to come and just look at her straight on her foot so that you can see both sides. And I'll keep her right here. Come here, love. I don't need you to back up, sweetie. Just stay still. So if she has just a little bit of flaring, but it's pretty equal, what you don't want to see, and my finger is going to be down the center of her hoof, okay, and that's what the farrier is going to show you too. What you don't want to see is uneven flaring. Let's say she flared out more on where my middle finger is on the right here, or she flared out more on the left. That's going to easily tell you that the horse is imbalanced, in that they are throwing their weight to one side of their body or the other. And so the feet tell you everything. I have a really awesome new farrier right now that is also into classical dressage and has ridden some upper level horses in his career aside from being a farrier. And he is one of many farriers I've talked to that'll tell you that the feet tell you so much about how they move correctly or incorrectly. And so Lovey's just got some normal flaring, but she's very balanced, if you guys could see on all 4 of her hooves. They're very well shaped. She probably hasn't had a trim in at least 4 weeks, and it's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. So that's one area you're going to look at. It's not just looking at the horse's hooves to see how long or short or rough they are. You're looking to see, you know, how balanced the hoof is. One of the things too, when you pick up the hoof, you also want to be able to look at the sole of a horse. This is really important. I can't emphasize this enough, especially dealing with two of my off-the-track thoroughbreds who had stress founder from racing. And it got corrected in time, but they were not sound for a while. And that's because you can see how Lovey's sole is basically like a cup and it's scooped out here. That's excellent. What you don't want is a straight sole. You want it cupped out. That tells you that she's traveling well. She's got a really strong sole. It's not thin, and it's not soft. So a soft sole just tells you the horse might be getting too much moisture, but predominantly it tells you the horse's sole is too thin. And that means they're going to be really ouchy on their feet. Those are the horses that do better with shoes. But it's also the way your farrier is going to be able to trim this horse and to help that. And it's also telling you how balanced and healthy the horse is in the way they move. So both of the two thoroughbreds off the track that have had stress founder had a lot of chiropractic work and a lot of back issues, and you guys are going to see both of those boys, Joey and Billy. And so you can see Lovey's back is beautiful and smooth, and she's got a nice dip, and her top line is healthy from the work that she's had. She doesn't have a predominant spine or a roach back or anything that I'm going to point out with the other two horses. And all of that, for the most part, can be fixed through a lot of chiropractic and by developing your horse through my training, you know, the longitudinal stretch and the top line development, the muscular development. A lot of it can be changed. But I'm just pointing all of this out so you guys take a look at your horse a little more closely, because it's going to definitely affect the way you are able to ride your horse and do things with your horse. All right, so we've taken a look at Lovey's hooves. That was really important. We are now gonna get the camera, and I don't know if you want to take the camera off, hon, and step up here. But I'm gonna square her up. Come here, love. Come here, girl. Come here. Just wait. Yep. So Lovey thinks I'm getting on, and I'm not. And what I want the camera to do is come right where I am, and I'm going to get down, and you're just going to kind of pan, Sabrina, right where I'm going to hold her straight, and you're going to pan right between her ears, but you need to get above her. You need to be up on the top of the mounting block so that you can kind of, when you start at her ears, you can get all of her right now. And then down her top line kind of to her butt. So we're just looking to see, let me straighten her, square her up a little bit more, and I might have to bring her forward. Come. Good. One. Good. Much better. So we're looking at her shoulders right now too, and are her shoulders pretty level and even? Meaning, you know, it doesn't look like one is higher than the other or more overly developed than the other. And then is her spine straight and lined up with her neck and her withers, and straight all the way down her back. And she's pretty equally muscled on both sides of her spine, if I'm correct. So she looks really equal, doesn't she? If we were to draw a line straight down her top line and across, like a cross across her midsection. She's pretty equal. Because we're going to look at some horses that aren't. And you guys are going to be able to see a huge difference, and it's going to make a huge difference in your riding and in your horse's behavior and attitude with riding, because it's uncomfortable until it gets fixed. Chiropractic can fix a horse that has asymmetry, and so can the stretching longitudinal exercises that I teach in lunging. So you can change that. You can make it better. You can make it better. And sometimes horses are so damaged from the competition or racing industry that they have some calcification of their bone or some scar tissue that makes it really difficult for the chiropractor to to make better, so to speak. So just taking all that into consideration, because the more you pay for a horse, even when you get these guys free, you don't realize what you're getting. But sometimes the more you pay for a horse, you really want to be looking for all of this. Okay, and that's why I'm bringing it up. If I'm gonna pay over $15,000 or even $10,000 for a horse, I'm gonna scrutinize it. And that's why I'm doing such a long pre-purchase series, video series. And then there's those of us, here's the opposite spectrum. How about a freebie? I want to adopt and save this beautiful rescue horse, and then you have no idea what you're inheriting. At least know what you're inheriting. And because it's going to cost you money, you guys. These guys that are free and they come with these problems, cost mental problems, physical problems. It's amazing how much it can cost. Okay, so I think that's good for that. For Lovey, we're now going to just take a look at the way Lovey moves. I think we've got a good idea on her brain and her mind and her emotions. And I'll wait for the camera to get situated and head on outside the round pen. And then we're just going to lunge. We're going to free lunge, Lovey. That's all I'm going to do today. All right. You good? Okay. Hey, love. Alrighty. So I'm going to send Lovey out at a walk, because that's really important. When I test a horse, I want to test him in a round pen, free. That's a huge requirement for me, because as a trainer, I have dealt with so many damaged horses from incorrect round penning experiences. So as soon as you put them in a round pen, they flake out and freak out. And they just automatically assume they're going to be chased and run, which they have been. So I want to see how quiet and calm a horse is in a round pen. If you don't have that opportunity and you never want a round pen, then that's fine. That works for you. Good girl. But I'm just going to send her out at a walk. Good girl. Because again, where's my emotional agility test here? Is she calm and connected, or does she think she's going to get run in here? Because I don't want that mindset where she's accelerated and on flight mode and stressed out, because that's going to affect her riding or my riding. Good girl. And affect her movement. So the more mentally relaxed a horse is, good girl, there's your stretch, the more physically relaxed they're able to be. And relaxation is so key to training, you guys, and riding a safe horse, being safe around horses. Good girl. I'm going to ask for the trot. She doesn't know any verbal, so we'll just pick up the energy. Come. Good girl. Good. And I'm looking again for relaxation, which shows up by her stretching and having a nice rhythmic trot. She's not speeding up or slowing down. So you want to be in here, you not only are looking for 3 R's, my 3 R's, how responsive is the horse, how rhythmic and how relaxed, you're now going to be looking at the movement too. And, you know, is she able to have a nice, easy, slow trot, a little bit of collection? You can go to the bathroom. Come, come, come. Yep, good girl. Can I control her speed? That again is a mental thing and a physical thing. If a horse keeps rushing forward, tripping, slowing down, there's some things to think about. Most of the time it's mental, not physical. But sometimes it's related to horse not being balanced physically. Good girl. Beautiful stretch. That's what creates that wonderful muscling on her top line. Good girl. This type of free lunging is so key to movement, you guys. Creating straightness, strength, and balance. Good girl. So if I'm gonna use my training method, which right now I'm gonna ask her to W-A-L-K. Good. She doesn't know what walk or trot or canter means. She just listens to my breath and my energy. Good girl. And then I'm going to ask for the trot. Good girl. And she's pretty straight, right, guys? Yeah, I don't see her leaning. That's another thing you're going to look at. Is she leaning? No. Is she falling in? No. So I'm paying a lot of money for this horse. So let me see if I can bring her in a little bit. Good girl. Good girl. So we're going to do a small circle now. Good girl, love. And is she straight on this small circle? Good. Come. I want to see how advanced this horse is because I'm going to be paying some big bucks for her. Let's change direction. Good. She's a spirited one. And we're going to go back to the trot. Good girl. Good. Good. So you want to see if she's equal on this side, equal in her movement, her stretch, her mental control. Some horses feel better with you on one side than the other because they just haven't been handled that much on the other side. Sometimes they have bad experiences on one side. Good girl. Sometimes they're lopsided. So it's just thinking about all that. I'm going to ask for the canter in just a few seconds. So I want to see how well she picks herself up through her hind end. Come. Good girl. Nice. Good. And see if she can just stay there and not speed up. I don't mind if she slows down. Come. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Nice. Nice shoulder in. Good. Good. Thank you. So when I canter a horse, I'm looking for a lot of different things. You know, I'm looking for how responsive she is, how easy, does she pick herself up through her hind end and reach way underneath of herself, or does she hollow out and pick up through the front end, which you're going to see a horse do. Can she stay regulated? Meaning, does she speed up, slow down? Does she have a nice rhythm? And she did. And Lovey used to not. Lovey used to, you asked for the canter and Lovey would just fly around here with her head cut off. And of course she wasn't physically balanced, so she'd be leaning, she's fallen. I used to have to put her back on line. So, and it has nothing to do with her ever being worked in a round pen, being trained to race. It has to just do with what they did to her mind to train her to race. They blew her mind. And if I didn't get her before she turned 3, her owner contacted me personally, she would have been put down because according to them, she was blown. You couldn't do anything with her. They had destroyed her according to her owner. So she had almost a year off with me just to physically gain weight because she was nothing but ulcers and anorexic and had a horrible case of ringworm and rain rot, so she had to be quarantined for a good month. So Lovey was a real mess when I got her, and her training has been very slow and very gradual for many reasons, including the fact that I don't have a lot of time to dedicate to my personal horses with my schedule. But that's good because horses need time off, you guys. It's amazing when you're making huge breakthroughs with horses that have been traumatized like Lovey, what a month or 2 months will do. It's amazing. Hi, sweetheart. So you got to see a really easy horse. She basically, for me, I know I've trained her, she's my horse, but if I was looking at her to buy, and she wasn't my horse, she would be worth every bit of $10,000 or above, depending on what I wanted to do with her, if that makes sense. So I don't show, but let's say I'm a working equitation instructor, and I am. Let's say I wanted this horse to become my next working equitation horse, and I did want to compete. I definitely would want to make sure that she mentally and physically could do all the things that you've seen her do if I'm going to pay $10,000+ for her. And I might get a vet to come out and do a couple x-rays. I know how to do the lameness tests and to hold their leg up in all different positions to make sure they don't have a stifle or hock issue. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a vet. And I don't want to teach you guys something that I could be held liable for. But I do know how to do those, and they're good enough for me. And like I said, I've never acquired a horse that was lame that I didn't know about, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're done with Miss Love. Thank you very much. And we're going to take a look at Sundance, who's a different breed. Lovey's a thoroughbred. Sundance is a quarter horse. And we're just going to take a look again at a very well-trained horse. She's in the pre-purchase video number 1, part 1, and Sundance is now 18. That video was made, I think, 5 years ago when she was 13. So she's gotten a lot more muscle since then. She's had a lot more training since then, but she's still the same horse mentally and emotionally, so she'll be pretty pretty bomb proof like this one. Come on, love.